Were we wrong about the plays that we saw?
Ross Golan's The Wrong Man is all about being in the wrong place at the wrong time and meeting the wrong people. From the very start, Duran was born into a wrong situation with abuse and abandonment. He tries to escape but keeps landing into impossible positions. Duran finds a nice lady with kids, but he blows that arrangement and they leave him in the dust. Then he falls for a not-so-nice lady, Mariana, with some serious baggage. Before they can pack up and escape town, the past comes back. Duran is caught in the crossfires with the man in black. Will the truth set him free? Will anyone ever see Duran for himself? Is all fair in love? As the sole narrator, Joshua Henry gives a tour de force performance while the ensemble dances his story around him with Travis Wall's inventive and intricate choreography. Cara Renee as Mariana, the seductress, came on stage with such sexual charisma that it is no wonder that Duran fell hard for her. Tilly Evans Kruger as Mariana's dancing counterpart was fascinating to watch. Along with the rest of the dancers, they had moves that I didn't think were humanly possible to do. Ross Golan has written a sung-through story of love and life's disappointments. The lyrics got too repetitive after a while, but luckily I was so distracted by the astounding choreography and dancers, Joshua Henry's commanding singing and presence, and the fine acting that I was still able to become emotional over this.
To convince him to leave the large, somewhat isolated family home that's in the country not far from Paris. This seems pretty straightforward, but it's really very confusing because for a long time you're not sure who's alive and who's dead because Andre is suffering from dementia, and we really get to experience his confusion about who's there, who's not there, what's real, what's not. The acting I thought was really wonderful, but the play did seem to be a little bit more convoluted and confusing than it should be.
I really loved it because for me it's a memory play. I mean, though it became very ghostly, like somehow the other something happened which we think is a ghost, but it's about an elderly couple, as Mark said, and Jonathan Pryce, he has Alzheimer or dementia, but I think it is not clear when the daughter is trying to console the father that mother is dead. It's not clear because we see Eileen Atkin, who plays the wife, coming in, and we are a little bit confused that who is dead.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing, but at the same time, I think it's fabulously done because it's the beautiful lighting design, and like outside the window there's like a fog, and that reflects the memory of Jonathan Pryce for me, and the acting is so brilliant that even if there are some faults in the script or in the direction, not in the direction but maybe in the script, it's just like taken over by the two great actors. Eileen Atkin, Jonathan Pryce cannot fail.
And the daughters were really, I have no trouble with the acting. I just felt like I couldn't really get involved in the story enough because it was like just who's alive, who's dead. It seemed like it was getting us to play this game that really didn't seem helpful.
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't have to be so simplistic. Maybe we have to exercise our mind to figure it out. They don't have to tell us right away.
Well, but it seemed more like game playing than something that was really going for emotional depth.
Yeah, but
it was obscuring
but memory
it to me.
plays games.
Let
with
Eva
you.
get her say.
Yeah, I know, but I have to want to say, memory does play games with us. We do not know sometimes, what we're saying or thinking or remembering.
Okay, my turn! Alright, so I thought Florian Zeller did a much better job with the whole dementia thing with her play The Father with Frank Langella. That was clever. This was just a mess. And it was very funny, because I went to the talkback afterwards, and the actors find it hysterical because during the scene changes and there's like a pause, they can hear the audience. I mean, the audience is all asking each other, who's dead? What's going on? Nobody knows what's going on in the audience. And at the talkback, the two young actresses, Amanda Drew and Lisa O'Hare, were really cool because they said they were confused too. But what they did was they talked to each other because they had to be on the same page. So they put together a foundation what they thought was happening, and so that it made sense to them. So it's like, at least the actors all knew what was going on, but the audience did not. And also, the fog that you saw in the window was actually a lighting mistake. What you saw was the lights that were fogging it. You could see the light fixtures reflected in the windows, which I found very distracting.
See how we take things differently. I thought it was metaphorical fog, the memories fog.
Well, it would have worked for that, but
Yeah,
again, I had trouble with the daughters being around in scenes where they were interacting, where it seemed like they shouldn't have been, because it seemed like it was supposed to be in his demented
You see, the thing
idea.
is this,
I just didn't.
why they did not make it clear, because he was so demented that he will go into a shock or something if he finds out wife is dead, because he wants to believe, he believes the wife is alive.
And the other thing that was confusing, there was a woman played by Lucy Kohu and the man played by James Hillier. Now, was she a real estate agent? Was she a past mistress? Was he a boyfriend, a husband, the son? I mean, it's like she deliberately tried to obscure
I
everything
think
and
it's
make it
he.
difficult.
Florian, I think, is a man's name.
No, I'm talking about the man, the actor, the man. I'm talking about the guy, James
Right, but I
Hillier.
mentioned-
Fiance
okay.
or something.
All right.
No,
But
no,
again,
I wasn't
Florian,
talking-
those.
No, I'm not talking about the playwright
Okay.
at all. Oh, did I say he
You
or
did.
she?
She.
Oh, okay.
She
I
was
wasn't.
making
I,
it confusing.
I
Yeah.
wasn't paying
I
attention.
don't know, guys. I just love this play. I can see it one more time.
Well,
Because the
once
actors
was
are
more
so
than enough, but
fabulous, yeah.
because the actors were so good, I'm giving it a mixed space plus.
I give a very happy face.
I'm giving it a mixed face minus because I thought the father was so much better. And it's like, there was no reason to confuse us like that. It's sloppy playwriting. At the Paper Mill Playhouse in New Jersey is Tina Marie Casamento Chasing Rainbows, The Road to Oz. She felt there was a void because nothing had ever been written about young Frances Gump before she became Judy Garland, and all about her family that she grew up with. The Gump family moved to a town near Hollywood to try and make a career for their little girl with the big voice. Mr. Gump stays behind to run a movie theater that he bought while his wife Ethel makes the rounds with little Frances. Ethel enrolls Frances in Maul Lawler's School for Professional Children. Here she meets Shirley Temple and makes a lifelong friend in Mickey Rooney. At a Hollywood party, Kay Coverman, the executive secretary to Louis B. Mayer, discovers Judy and tries with the help of Roger Edens to convince Louis B. Mayer that Judy Garland is a star in the making. You may think you know all there is to know about Judy Garland, but you're in for a big surprise. The actors are above and beyond the rainbow, starting with Sophie Knapp as baby Gump, Frances Gump. She really epitomizes a little girl with a powerhouse voice. She also has a stage presence to match. Her scenes with her beloved father, played by Max von Essen, will melt your heart. Mr. Gump carries around a dangerous secret. Max von Essen is such a tragic figure, as his heart is in the right place, but considered wrong by standards of the 30s. Poor Ethel, the wife, played by Leslie Margarita, is heartbroken as she loves her husband in an impossible situation. Ruby Rakos as Judy Garland bursts on the stage with her meteoric talent, while Michael Wartella as Mickey Rooney tears up the stage with his tapping, drumming, and breezy personality. Even the supporting actors are supremely talented. Violet Tenorello as Shirley Temple tap dances circles around the real Temple. Karen Mason in the double role of Ma Lawler and Kate Coverman is a person to reckon with in both cases. Colin Hanlon as Roger Edens made a noble champion molding Judy's talents. Stephen DeRosa as Louis de Mayer was a hurdle everyone had to overcome to convince him that Judy was a star. Under the helm of Dennis Jones, the show was more than just an interesting behind-the-scenes look at an iconic luminary. His tap dancer numbers were legendary, combining drumsticks while tapping is magic and other feats of fancy. Mark Casito's book revealed a family trying to make it with unsurmountable odds against them in an uninviting Hollywood setting. David Libby took the music of the time and with his and Larry Blank's orchestration turned well-known songs into plot-driven musical emotions. Chasing Rainbows, The Road to Oz is a dream come true. And on the Facebook page you can read the review, but also on YouTube under Eva Heinemann, I had the entire press conference where I got to talk to everybody, and there's musical numbers, and you can see how wonderful this is. So go to YouTube Eva Heinemann to get even more about Chasing Rainbows, and in the meantime, I'm giving this a major happy face, well worth the trip.
Jan Ewing saw and reviewed 2 plays that are in repertoire, Stupid Fucking Bird and Pizza Man, presented by Art of War Productions. Stupid Fucking Bird is by Aaron Posner and adapted from The Seagull by Chekhov. The director, set design, and props is Joshua Ware. And I love his description of the plot, if I could find where a suffering artist, the woman who wrongs him, his good buddy, the woman he loves, who loves the first guy, his dominant mother, her supercilious lover, 2 generations screaming for attention. It really is a wonderful play. And let's see, he mentioned certain actors that he really liked a lot. Blake Merriman, who plays the tormented artist, who's an aging adolescent demanding attention from his self-centered mother every time he's on stage. He liked a lot, Alexandra Riley Morton, who plays Mash, the woman who's in love with him but later has to settle for someone else. He was especially impressed that she's a talented musician who plays guitar and banjo, arrangements of lovely music by James Sugg, and dramatically she provides stability for this generation's class. He felt the play was well constructed, intelligent, engaging, clever, funny, and contemporary. And again, there's a lot more on Facebook. The other play, Pizza Man, is written by Darlene Cravioto, and Jan saw it a long time ago, and it may have been a different production, but he really liked it. The play was written in 1966, and it concerns 2 women who are roommates and are physically exhausted by whatever it is they've been searching for, and they decide to get revenge. While they're deciding how to do this, in walks Eddie, dripping with testosterone and dumb as a post. Their problem is solved. So he really liked it a lot. There's his complete review on Facebook, and check to make sure that it's the same cast and director. But happy face for both.
I saw 2 plays at 59E59 theaters. Mike Tucker's Fern Hill concerns itself with 3 aging couples who think that they have found the solution about how to grow old practically. Sonny and Jer have a big farm. They want their friends Vincent and Darla and Billy and Michiko to move in with them and start a commune to look after each other as they get older. This way they don't have to be a burden to their kids or rely on them. They all seem to have make a living as teachers, but have artistic bents: musicians, painters, writers, and photographers. As they sit around celebrating various decade birthdays of 60, 70, and 80, there's a fly in the ointment, and it's not the clam sauce for their utopian vision. Turns out that Sonny and Jer are having marital problems. Will they get resolved? Will Billy ever let Jer cook shellfish? Will Darla leave Vincent while he is recovering from his hip replacement to attend her photography opening in Vienna? It felt like an American trying to do a French film and failing miserably. That said, I still managed to enjoy this because it was a cast of my favorite actors. So what if it was pretentious fluff about what it is like to be married a long time and what happens with long-term sex lives? It would have been more interesting to me if it kept to the topic of how to deal with growing old without adding the tired cliche of domestic problems. John Glover is adorable as a phlegmatic artist who looks too young to be turning 80. Ellen Parker is a wonderful match for him as she is torn between being a good wife and independent artist. Mark Lynn Baker is hilarious as the open and proud of it drug and alcohol addict who loves his Ollymobile bus and cooking. His wife, Jodie Long, not only holds her own against him, but lends an air of practical efficiency. Jill Eikenberry and Mark Bloom have the more dramatic scenes as their marriage is crumbling apart. Is it worth saving a marriage at the cost of losing your identity? In any other hands, this would be impossible to digest as Jer's clam sauce. These are all flawed, heightened human beings who are just trying to come to terms with what it means to be human. So I'm giving it a mixed face plus. Much better at 5090's 59th Street theaters is Sean Daniels' The White Chip. It's about the making and unmaking of an alcoholic in vivid detail. From the age of 12, when the author gets his first nasty taste of beer with a childhood buddy, to the inevitable conclusion of how alcohol can derail your life, we are on a crash course which even includes instructional blackboard and chalk. Joe Tapper, who portrays the protagonist, starts out as a Mormon until his mom decides to leave the religion. His mom is an interesting character, as she is very prickly towards her son, with her constant rejoinder of, "Fuck you." I can appreciate that. Yet she obviously loves and cares for her son. His father is very low-key, kind, and develops Parkinson's later. How Joe deals with his dad's Parkinson and his own alcoholism is all very delusional. Joe becomes a very successful theater director at a very prestigious theatrical organization. He impulsively has relationships. He's on top of the world, thinking he has alcoholic intake under control and very well scheduled. Car crashes, broken relationships, sickness doesn't deter him. Nobody is calling him out, as he is working in Kentucky, where drinking bourbon is a natural state of being. Plus, he is wildly successful at schmoozing donors, getting audiences, and getting high praise for his productions while he is high. He does make feeble attempts to sober up at AAs, where one is given a white chip just for saying one wants to quit. He collects a lot of white chips. Does he finally come out at the other end of drunkenness and get his life and relationships back? Can his friends or families or colleagues help him? Which higher power works? Jesus, Jews, or science? This is fascinating. Never have the effects of alcoholism been so keenly illustrated by such an incredible cast that I was pulled into this vodka-infused voyage from the get-go. Genesis Oliver and Finnerty Stevens played a variety of roles with just a slight change in wardrobe and speech that I felt it was a cast of many. Joe Tapper, in the middle of this maelstrom, was so sympathetic and rational that I almost find myself rooting for him to keep up the charade of being an alcoholic with no problems. This is one of the best plays I've seen. Anyone who has ever been an alcoholic, is an alcoholic, knows an alcoholic, should definitely see this. Even knowing nothing about alcoholics, one should see this. It is that good. This gets a major, major, major happy face.
Jacob Goldbas reviews Notes on My Mother's Decline, which is presented at 4th Street Theater, part of New York Theater Workshop. It's, let's see, I can't tell who wrote. The writer is Andy Bragan and the director is Newt Adams. And it concerns the writer's mother, what she was doing in 2013 before her ultimate hospice and palliative care in 2017. The description based objectively lends meditation and grace to the events of the play. That is dramatic without being explicitly sad. And he felt there's affirmation in this play that true love doesn't really go away. Jake was able to really relate to it because of his relationship to his grandma before she died. And he has more on Facebook, and he really liked it. He gave it a happy face plus.
This is from Leslie DiLeo. Just to remind you, this is your last chance tonight, October 26th, to see Love's Labor's Lost, that Thomas G. Waits was inspired by literally to adapt and direct Shakespeare's comedy romp Love's Labor's Lost by setting it in and adding music from the of Love and Woodstock era. It's the story of where the men have taken a vow to eschew women for 3 years right before a bevy of lovelies descend upon them so they can study. The show is pretty and frothy. There's no real deep matching of the songs to the play's action. It's pretty casual and generally appropriate. There's no examination of the pitfalls and drama that often accompany love, lust, and attraction, or the false glitter and dashed idealism and communion immediately following the summer of love. But the idea is good, the cast appealing, and the music unbeatable, whether the singing is fantastic or simply sincere. In a perfect world, the show would be presented 90 minutes with no intermission, but it's a sweet success made possible by the Jeffrey Hunter Charitable Trust, and she's giving this a happy face.
Baz Luhrmann's dazzling 2001 film Moulin Rouge has reached the Broadway stage as a deeper and more satisfying musical. It's directed by Alex Timbers, with book by John Logan, choreography by Sonia Taya, and music direction, additional arrangements by John McCarthy. And the story is basically set in 1899 at the legendary nightclub from Montmartre. It tells the story of the show's star performer, Satine, played by Karen Olivo, wonderfully sexy, who is desired by both the rich Duke of Monroe, Tam Muto, and Christian, a young American songwriter new to Paris, played very convincingly by Aaron Tveit. Although she falls for Christian, Satine must become the Duke's mistress, so the club can still present shows by impresario Harold Zidler, I think who was a real figure, and Danny Burstein gives him a lot of pizzazz. Christian is befriended by and agrees to work with poor bohemians, artist-director Toulouse-Lautrec, Charnagoja, and Argentinian choreographer Santiago. Can the Bohemians be true to their revolutionary creed of truth, beauty, freedom, and love, or will they be compromised by their sponsor, the Duke?
Oh, and you forgot to mention Ricky Rojas was the Argentinian,
Oh, yes.
and Robin Herder was one of the denizens of the club. And
Yeah, she's the woman he choreographs for, and that they have a steamy relationship.
yes. Oh my gosh, I hated the movie. I mean, the movie was just made me ill. This, despite all the lighting and everything, I don't know how they managed to do it, but it did not bother my vertigo. I mean, I had my sunglasses on the entire time, but except for the strobe lighting effect, but the actual flashing, dazzling lights did not bother me. I think it's because I loved everything about this. From the minute you come in and you have this incredible dance number, I was just smiling and just like, oh my God, this was like taking a great drug or something if I did that sort of thing. Because it was just like phenomenal. And Danny Burstein, I was like, that's Danny Burstein? Oh my God. He was like, I could see him doing cabaret now. Not before he played the guy, the Jewish guy, the pineapple, but now he was like Joel Grey, the MC. But he was not as creepy. And oh my gosh,
Although he had his moments, but still, yeah, it's amazing because it's sort of like the apotheosis of two really despicable forms, the jukebox musical, because it reuses older songs in such a fantastic way that gives them incredible depth, because these people are really singing their hearts out and you believe them, which I thought was one of the problems of the movie. The movie was dazzling and really a lot of fun, but it really didn't have the heart. And this also uses, like the old-fashioned melodrama of the triangle of the poor boy, the rich man, and the girl in between. And it sort of plays with that because the play within the play that the Bohemians are writing is that story. So it makes you sort of realize that, yes, this could be laughable and over-exaggerated, but it could also grip you with incredible emotion. And everything about this show works.
Have you ever seen me and Mark on fire, raving and loving something so much? This just never happens. Never. But I gotta correct you.
Okay.
They're not old songs. These are pop songs. I mean, you've got Royal. That's
okay.
Not old. I mean, Raise Your Glasses.
Sympathy
High
for the Devil.
Is kind of
what?
No. But there's a lot of pop songs. Raise Your Glasses. High. I love that song.
So many generations.
Of pop songs. Yes, that were used perfectly. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were like hilarious, and I mean, you're just bouncing in your seats. You're just enjoying yourself immensely. So this gets beyond a happy thing. Yeah, this is the thing I'm recommending to everyone to go see.
Yeah, it's everything you've ever wanted in a musical, plus a blue elephant.
Until November 10th, they're doing Heroes of the Fourth Turning at Playwrights Horizon, so we'll talk about more on our next show, November 9th, when I'll have William J. Cataldi's version as well. Will Arbery's Heroes of the Fourth Turning focuses on young folks reuniting after graduating from a liberal arts college Catholic town in their small town in Wyoming and what they turn into. Past indiscretions are brought up, present-day accomplishments are exchanged, and the future is delved into with the current political Republican regime and impending eclipse of the sun. Will doubts be resolved? Will the confident lose face? What is that mysterious noise? I was totally sucked into the maelstrom of intense feelings generated by the stellar cast. Much more on Facebook and next show, and Happy Face Minus.
Even I saw and reviewed on Facebook, Cole Porter's The Decline and Fall of the Whole World is viewed by Cole Porter, which was a 65 review that repopularized some of his songs.
By Ben Bagley.
But they're continuing, the York Theater is continuing their Cole Porter season with Panama Hattie that starts tonight, and we're really looking forward to that.
Happy Face to Mufti. And I don't have much time, so I'm going to whiz right through this. And you can find all this information on our Facebook page and Twitter, and even shows we didn't get to will be reviewed on the Facebook page. And lots of immersive theaters going on. Duncan Flaster's at the Fringe Festival, which is still going on. Drama League benefit galas honoring Sutton Foster Foundry Theater. This is their very last event. Is Monday, November 4th, and Gilbert and Sullivan is back with Iolanthe. Michael Colby's Slate with Music is going to be at the Green Room. It's got lots of stuff going on at 54 Below, and Panagia's got this really cool thing going on. In case you missed it, Al Cummings and Linda Simpson is going to be at the Wild Project. And on the Facebook page, I'll be posting lots of fun theater stuff that's going on for Halloween. And these are reviews that you can find on the Facebook page that have closed. And go to our Facebook page, Twitter, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Our next show is November 9th. And don't forget about your Performing Arts Insider, the Cultural Heartbeat of New York City, which unfortunately, if they don't get some more money, will go belly up. So find out how you can donate to them and keep them going.